So I bought this 1994 Ford Ranger, and I'm going to drive it this winter when the roads are crappy and while I'm tearing into the green Jeep. But the interior was gross. I scrubbed most of the surfaces and the carpet and the seats, but look at this headliner. Disgusting. But we're going to replace it. I'm taking the handle out. We've got to take all the hardware off the headliner. So I'm taking the handle off the passenger side. That's a 7/32 socket. And then the rest is all Phillips screws. And a lot of them are really long screws. So eventually here I swap out the Phillips screwdriver for a drill with a Phillips screwdriver bit in it. We'll buzz everything out with that. Wouldn't recommend it for putting it back in because a lot of times you're just screwing into a plastic insert. But for taking it out, we can whip that. 3 screws on each of the visors. And then 1 screw in the visor clip. We'll move around the back to the dome light and the clothes hanger. My dome light was broken already. The fixtures broke. There were no bulbs in it. It wasn't plugged in. But you'll probably want to pull the fuse on that because you're going to be working with the doors open. So that wire is going to be hot. So pull the fuse on that so you don't blow it, I guess, or hurt anything. But mine was broken, so you have a little more to it than that. And then this door trim pulls out. And you just kind of work your fingers underneath it and pull. There's 2 tabs along the top, and a couple more along the post. And then this corner plastic has got a big tab. You'll see it. That you got to kind of pull out. Get your fingers real deep in there. If you've got an interior spoon, use it. Once you do that on both sides, you'll be able to just pull the headliner down past the rear view mirror, and then move it forward past the corner trim. Once you get one side, you can just pull it all the way out. The new one is fabric over plastic, and I'm cutting little slits in the fabric where the plastic is cut away for all the hardware to go through. It's going to make it easier for me to find the screw holes later to put all the hardware back on. And I'm not cutting all the way to the edge, just kind of cutting enough that I can poke a finger in there and see where the hole is. So I got all those cut, not just the triangles for the visors, but every little where there's going to be a screw, I kind of made a little slit. Now you're putting it back in, you want to get it above the rear view mirror, that'll kind of hold it up front, and then above the corner pieces of trim at the backs of the cab. That'll hold it up in place to where you can put your door trim back in. And just make sure that when you push on that to snap it back in, that you're pushing it into the slot. You don't want to break the tabs off the trim. Make sure it's going into the slot, and then you can squeeze it in. Push your tab back in on your corner plastic too. Do that on both sides, and then you can start putting your hardware back in. There's the handle and the 2 little rubber inserts that cover up the bolt heads. And then on the visor, there's 3 screws going in a triangle to hold the visor on. But you might lose track of which way that triangle is oriented. It is not symmetrical. So there are those little notches on that circle, and they match up with these little posts outside of the hinge there. And that'll orient it. So you got it in right, and that'll help you line the screw up with the plastic inserts that you're screwing into. So just pay attention to make sure those go in, the posts go in the slots. And the screws are much easier, screw holes are much easier to find. Man, I'm pretty. I've got lots of other videos, trucks, SUVs, mostly Jeeps, motorcycle stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, comment, like. There's a button there to buy me a beer with your Google Wallet if you want. Get yourself a hat or a t-shirt by clicking on the merch link. Truck on!